In an exciting development for the South Carolina Democratic Party, former vice presidential candidate and current Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is set to headline the state convention later this month. Scheduled for May 31st at the state fairgrounds in Columbia, this event marks a significant moment for South Carolina Democrats as they prepare for upcoming electoral challenges in 2026. Governor Walz, who previously ran alongside then Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential campaign, is currently on a nationwide tour engaging with constituents in Republican-held districts. His visit to South Carolina is not just a formality, it represents a strategic effort to galvanize Democratic support in a state that has historically leaned Republican. Governor Tim Walz brings the kind of experience, heart and vision that defines strong Democratic leadership, said Christelle Spain, chairperson of the South Carolina Democratic Party. She emphasized the importance of Walz's visit in rallying Democrats around shared values as they gear up to confront the GOP in the next election cycle. The convention will serve as a platform for the party to elect state officers, discuss proposed organizational policy changes, and listen to various guest speakers. This gathering comes at a crucial time when the party is looking to strengthen its position in a politically competitive environment. Walz's experience and leadership could provide a much-needed boost to local Democrats who are eager to unify their base and expand their influence ahead of the 2026 elections. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the South Carolina Democratic Party's decision to invite Walz signals an intent to not only leverage his national profile but also to inspire a renewed commitment to democratic values in the state. Observers will be watching closely to see how this convention shapes the party's strategies moving forward, especially in light of increasing competition from Republican candidates. In conclusion, as the South Carolina Democratic Party prepares for its state convention, the inclusion of Governor Tim Walz as a speaker underscores a proactive approach to energize the party base and lay the groundwork for future electoral successes. With the 2026 elections on the horizon, the focus will undoubtedly be on how effectively these efforts translate into actionable strategies for Democratic candidates across the state. In the evolving landscape of American politics, the distinctions between traditional conservatism and the contemporary Republican Party, largely influenced by former President Donald Trump and his MAGA movement, have become increasingly blurred. This shift raises significant questions about the identity and future direction of the Republican Party, as well as the implications for conservative principles in the United States. Des Potas, an opinion columnist for USA Today, aptly articulates his discontent with the current state of the Republican Party, asserting, "Don't call me a Republican. I'm a conservative." For Potas and many like him, there is a fundamental difference between being a conservative, which involves a commitment to the foundational values of American governance, and being a partisan Republican whose principles may shift in response to the party's evolving agenda. He insists that the rise of the MAGA faction complicates public perception, conflating right-wing ideologies with true conservatism. Potas emphasizes that not all Republicans espouse conservative values, highlighting how the party has shifted under Trump's leadership. Historically, the Republican Party sought to promote a conservative agenda focused on limited government fiscal responsibility and individual liberties. However, the ascent of Trump has allowed a new breed of partisanship to flourish, characterized by an adherence to Trump's directives rather than a commitment to conservative principles. This shift is evident as Republicans adapt their platforms to align with Trump's policies, often compromising core conservative tenets in the process. The implications of this transformation are profound. Conservatives like Potas express concern that the current Republican leadership exhibits a troubling disregard for established checks and balances which have traditionally guarded against the expansion of governmental power. He warns that the lack of restraint could lead to a future where the party's current practices are replicated by Democrats when they regain power, exacerbating political instability and undermining the constitutional framework. As Republicans grapple with internal tensions, their approach to policy and governance becomes increasingly contentious. A recent report from the New York Times highlights the party's struggle to balance a desire for budget cuts with the political fallout of such decisions, particularly regarding federal programs like Medicaid. Speaker Mike Johnson and other GOP leaders are tasked with navigating the complex terrain of cutting spending without alienating constituents who rely on these services. The challenge is further amplified by the necessity of appeasing Trump, whose influence remains a significant factor in party dynamics. Internal divisions within the Republican Party are also evident in Minnesota, where the state's congressional delegation has opted to skip a key fundraising event due to disagreements over the party's direction. This fracture reflects broader discontent among Republican leaders regarding their alignment with grassroots factions associated with Trump, which some view as detrimental to the party's future viability. Former party officials express concern that the ongoing rift could hinder their ability to compete effectively in upcoming elections, particularly with significant opportunities arising from retirements in the state's congressional delegation. As the Republican Party continues to navigate these challenges, the question remains: can it reconcile its traditional conservative values with the populist impulses of the MAGA movement? Analysts suggest that the answer may lie in how effectively party leaders can address the concerns of both factions while maintaining a coherent identity. With the 2026 midterm elections on the horizon, the stakes are high for the GOP, as it seeks to either reaffirm its commitment to conservatism or continue down a path defined by partisanship and shifting allegiances. The future of the Republican Party may ultimately hinge on its ability to clarify its principles and articulate a vision that resonates with both conservatives and the broader electorate. As the political landscape evolves, the distinction between conservatism and partisanship will likely remain a pivotal topic of discussion, shaping the trajectory of American politics for years to come. In a significant political development, former Michigan House Speaker Joe Tate has officially announced his candidacy for the U.S. Senate, aiming to secure an open seat in the upcoming elections. His entry into the race adds to a growing list of candidates vying for the position, indicating a vibrant and competitive political landscape in Michigan. Tate, a Democrat representing Detroit, stepped down from his role as Speaker in 2023. A move that has positioned him to pursue higher office and advocate for the interests of his constituents on a national level. In his announcement, Tate emphasized the need for fresh leadership in Washington, stating, "We need representatives who are committed to the people and the values of Michigan. It's time for us to stand up for our communities and ensure that our voices are heard." This sentiment echoes a broader call among voters for accountability and representation that reflects the diverse experiences of Michiganders. Tate's candidacy comes at a time when the Democratic Party is looking to solidify its influence in the Senate, especially in light of recent shifts in voter sentiment across the country. His extensive background in state politics, coupled with his grassroots connections, positions him as a formidable candidate who understands the challenges facing Michigan families. Political analysts are already speculating about how his campaign will resonate with voters, particularly in urban areas where issues like economic inequality and public services are at the forefront of public discourse. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Insurance Commissioner John King has entered the race for the 2026 U.S. Senate seat currently held by Democrat Jon Ossoff. King's candidacy adds another layer of complexity to what is shaping up to be a highly contested election cycle. In his announcement, King stressed the need for reinforcements for President Trump, declaring, "President Trump needs reinforcements and Georgia needs a new senator." His experience in law enforcement and the National Guard, along with his unique background as a Hispanic leader in a predominantly white Republican establishment, may appeal to a diverse electorate as he seeks to broaden his support base. King's campaign is particularly noteworthy given the shifting dynamics within the Republican Party, especially after U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she would not seek the nomination. With several other Republican candidates expressing interest, including U.S. Representative Buddy Carter and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, the GOP primary is expected to be fiercely competitive. However, King will need to demonstrate his ability to raise significant campaign funds as the financial stakes for the Senate seat are high. Ossoff has already raised over $11 million in just the first quarter of 2025. In another political arena, U.S. Senator Katie Britt of Alabama shared her insights on parenting while serving in the Senate during an interview with Laura Trump. Britt, one of the few Republican moms in Congress, opened up about the challenges of balancing motherhood with her legislative responsibilities. "Being a wife and a mom is the most important thing to me," she reflected, highlighting the sacrifices families make when one parent is in public service. Britt's introduction of the More Opportunities for Moms to Succeed Moms Act aims to provide vital support for mothers during crucial phases of motherhood, signaling her commitment to addressing family-related issues in her legislative work. As these political narratives unfold, they underscore the evolving landscape of American politics, marked by candidates who are not only seeking office but also striving to represent the nuanced realities of their constituents. With the elections on the horizon, the stakes are high and the outcomes will undoubtedly shape the future direction of both state and national policies. As voters engage with these candidates, the discourse surrounding family, community, and representation will remain central, setting the stage for a dynamic electoral season ahead. In a significant move aimed at addressing the mounting national debt crisis, Representatives Bill Huizenga, Republican, Michigan, and Scott Peters, Democrat, California, have reintroduced the Bipartisan Fiscal Commission Act known as H.R. 3289. This legislation seeks to establish a bipartisan bicameral fiscal commission tasked with crafting a proposal to tackle the United States' fiscal challenges, which have become increasingly dire. The bill, which previously garnered approval from the House Budget Committee in 2024, aims to compel Congress to vote on the Commission's proposal without amendments or delays. Our Bipartisan Fiscal Commission Act is the most practical, immediate, and comprehensive action Congress can take right now to end our nation's deepening fiscal crisis, stated Huizenga. He emphasized the urgency of the situation, noting that failure to address the unsustainable trajectory of the national debt could lead to mandatory cuts in benefits for Medicare and Social Security programs that millions of Americans depend on. The reintroduction of the bill comes at a time when interest payments on the national debt have already surpassed defense and Medicaid spending, a scenario that Congressman Scott Peters highlighted as a critical warning. "Our accelerating fiscal crisis threatens to bankrupt our children's future," Peters remarked, urging Congress to move beyond timidity and take decisive action. He underscored the need for serious solutions-focused conversations about fiscal responsibility. Support for the Fiscal Commission Act extends beyond its co-sponsors, with a diverse group of lawmakers from both parties endorsing the initiative. Congressman Jack Bergman, Republican, Michigan, characterized the national debt as a major national security threat and commended the bill as a vital step toward restoring fiscal responsibility. Similarly, Congresswoman Erin Huchin and Congressman David Vallado, Republican, California, joined the chorus of support, emphasizing the necessity of confronting the $36 trillion national debt and the importance of protecting critical programs while stabilizing the fiscal outlook. The structure of the proposed fiscal commission is designed to foster collaboration between lawmakers and private sector experts, with 16 members appointed to identify policies that ensure a sustainable debt-to-GDP ratio. The commission is mandated to propose recommendations that aim to balance the budget at the earliest reasonable date, stabilize the debt-to-GDP ratio at or below 100% within 10 years, and improve the long-term fiscal outlook. Public engagement is also a core component of the Commission's duties, which will include holding at least 6 public hearings and conducting a public awareness campaign. The proposed timeline will see the Commission's recommendations voted on by Congress during the week following the 2026 elections, with expedited procedures ensuring that the final proposal is considered without amendments. As this legislative effort unfolds, it arrives against a backdrop of growing concern over another significant piece of legislation, the expansive tax reform bill championed by former President Donald Trump. This big beautiful bill aims to slash social safety net programs to fund $5 trillion in tax cuts. Critics, including Democrats and independent analysts, warn that such cuts could leave millions without health insurance, exacerbating existing inequalities. With the Republicans in Congress rallying to support Trump's agenda, the next few weeks will be critical in determining the future of both the Fiscal Commission Act and Trump's tax reform proposal. The potential for bipartisan cooperation on fiscal issues amidst a divisive political landscape could set the stage for a new era of accountability and reform in U.S. economic policy. As these developments progress, the importance of fiscal responsibility and sound governance remains paramount. The outcomes of these legislative efforts will not only shape the economic landscape for the current generation but also determine the financial legacy entrusted to future Americans. The coming months will be pivotal in assessing whether Congress can unite to confront these pressing challenges and chart a sustainable path forward. In a significant development for the Arkansas judiciary, Justice Nick Brauny announced his candidacy for a full term on the Arkansas Supreme Court, marking a pivotal moment as the state gears up for elections in 2026. Appointed by Governor Sarah Sanders in December 2024, Brauny's ambition to secure position 3 comes as current Justice Cody Hyland prepares to vacate the seat. This announcement not only signals Brauny's commitment to his role but also introduces a new chapter in his judicial career that has already been marked by notable achievements and a conservative philosophy. Brauny, who previously served as Arkansas's Solicitor General, has a track record of significant legal victories, including successful arguments in the U.S. Supreme Court. I won case after case for the people of Arkansas at every level, from trial court to the United States Supreme Court, Brauny stated, highlighting his experience in defending constitutional rights and advocating for various causes, such as equal access to sports for girls and the protection of community pharmacies. His legal approach is characterized by a straightforward interpretation of the law, which he believes should be accessible to all, stating, "You shouldn't need a lawyer to understand the law. That's why I write decisions in plain English, not lawyer speak." Born and raised in Washita County, Brauny's background is deeply rooted in Arkansas. His education at George Washington University and later at the University of Michigan, where he excelled academically, has equipped him with the knowledge and skills necessary for his judicial role. His commitment to conservative values and originalism is clear as he seeks to navigate the complexities of Arkansas law while remaining true to his principles. As the political landscape in Arkansas evolves, Brauny's candidacy will undoubtedly be a focal point in the upcoming elections. His judicial philosophy and past successes may resonate with voters who prioritize a strict interpretation of the law and conservative values. However, the campaign will also be a test of how effectively he can communicate his vision for the court to the public, especially as he challenges the incumbent Hyland. In a broader context, Brauny's run for a full term reflects the ongoing political shifts within the state and the judiciary. As Arkansas continues to grapple with issues surrounding law and governance, the choices made at the ballot box could have long-lasting implications for the state's legal framework. Looking ahead, the future of the Arkansas Supreme Court will likely hinge not only on Brauny's campaign but also on the evolving political dynamics as various stakeholders vie for influence. With the election set for 2026, the outcomes may shape the judicial landscape for years to come, potentially affecting significant legal precedents and the interpretation of state laws. As Brauny embarks on this crucial phase of his career, all eyes will be on how he positions himself and what impact his tenure may have on Arkansas jurisprudence.